Let's take a look at Grubby's open letter to Blizzard.
Hey guys, I got a really important message to share if you care about the future of Warcraft 3. This message is for the community, but more than that, it is in the hope that someone at Blizzard of the Classic or Reforged balance team, design team, skeleton team, whatever it is, sees and hears this video, and I would like to give some direction on what we hope to get out of a Warcraft 3 patch if you guys start looking at Reforged again. Also a few things to avoid, which is really important. Let's start things with
Don't do Reforged again.
Clip that we recently saw of the...
Number 1, reverse everything you've done. Almost to that degree.
Let's say the CEO of Blizzard right now. He was asked on stream, what is happening with Reforged? And this is what he answered.
Like a massive waste of time. Hey, quick, can we expect any Warcraft 3 Reforged content updates? Is this something Blizzard is still looking to rectify? We are working on Warcraft 3 Reforged, and I'll ping the team on sort of what kind of comms plan.
I already responded to that a while back. I completely, judging by his body language, it just looked like some generic response that he was caught off guard. You know, sometimes as a streamer, what you do is you'll sometimes read a message before you've actually had a chance to digest what the message actually says. And that was probably what he did there, is he sort of went into the question and read it out loud and then realized what he had read out loud. And then it was like a bunch of sort of scratching the nose and looking to the side, and then a generic response like, ping the team. Okay. That doesn't mean anything.
That's being done in that space.
And he slowed down a lot.
And encouraging message.
If you're lying, you're more likely to slow down your speech patterns. So if I was to say that Reforged will be fixed, rather than to say, oh yeah, we've got people working on Reforged at the moment. I've actually spoken to them the other day, but just to get a clarification, I'll have another word with them and let you guys know. You would just talk quickly like that.
From Mike Ibarra, and this was a couple of months ago. Now, of course, you wouldn't be upset, you wouldn't be surprised if the Warcraft 3 player community base was a little skeptical about what Blizzard is saying about the game. After all, they took a 2002 classic and remastered it with perhaps the best of intents initially, but of course, it takes only a quick Google search to find out what happened. The catastrophe of the remake is one of the worst remakes ever, and definitely Blizzard's worst product they ever put out. And they put out Overwatch 2 soon. So that is pretty impressive. So they're going to be looking...
Where is Overwatch 2 anyway? Overwatch 2 is a bit like Kekfit. Can't seem to find it anywhere now.
At a patch, supposedly. Now, skepticism aside and wondering whether it's going to happen at all, I myself have a little bet running to see whether George R.R. Martin's new novel in the Song of Ice and Fire novel story is coming out first, or whether Blizzard is first bringing out a Reforged patch, or, for that matter, a news post. And I don't know who's going to win, but I think George Martin might win it.
That's one hell of
There are a couple of...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the rate that he goes at, George R.R. Martin, I would almost side with Blizzard, just because that guy is like slower than eternity. You know what I mean? Like, even Blizzard has a chance to come forward before George R.R. Martin can finish his actual work. But, yeah.
Three important things, because, first of all, the multiplayer community right now for Warcraft 3, competitively, they're pretty pleased. And I really... and that is entirely because of the W3 Champions community team that have created a ladder where there was no ladder. The W3 Champions team has done some amazing work and have really reinvigorated and kept alive the competitive Warcraft 3 player base. Tournaments are still possible, practice is still possible. We even have a bit of a resurgence in 4-on-4 gameplay, not just the one-on-one gameplay. And it's been a lot of fun. But all of this could end if Blizzard does a few things badly and wrongly. After all, things that work now can be broken, either by, yeah,
He's essentially just saying, Blizzard, if you're going to come back, let the War3 Champions team know in advance, or at least try to work alongside them, because it would be a bit like you spent all this time building up this treehouse in your back garden. Just say, for example, you're a kid. You built this treehouse more or less by yourself. It's, you know, it just gets the job done. You can still play in it. And then your dad's just like, all right, we're going to get rid of the tree. Dad comes back home, Blizzard, aka. It's just like, that tree's gone. It's just like, well, look at this tree house. I built everything here. You can play in here and do all this stuff. No, we need to get rid of the tree now in order to build a new tree house. I need a bigger tree. Can see that
by
happening.
side effect or by design. It's always possible that Blizzard comes in and cleans up this illegal third-party piggyback.
I almost definitely would
service that
suspect
is
they would.
creating, a game out
Again, I don't mean to keep interrupting, Grubby, but they already, at least what we can suspect is, they're either fake, basically, screenshots of a ladder that they were working on. Do you remember those screenshots from ages ago? They're either fake, and that was all faked, or it's more likely the case that that was something they were genuinely working on, but just completely scrapped it. I would see them being very headstrong and just basically just classic Blizzard style, just ignoring what the community has actually kind of created and just go ahead with whatever that was, whether that's good for the game or not. They'll just basically, if there was a Blizzard to come back to Warcraft 3, they would just take that and then push it forward and then put it out, I reckon.
of their game where there would have been nothing. Or by ignorance and side effect, accidentally, they may be breaking something that was previously working.
You got
so
screwed,
I have
comrade.
a pertinent list of directives and questions from various people in the community. What to do, what not to do. Let's begin. First, I have a few questions.
Again, I'm cutting Grubby. But to be fair, that's what you're going to do if you're going to react, unless we're just going to put me even smaller in the webcam. Shall I have myself even smaller and then don't say anything? That's what most React videos normally are, aren't they? Legolas makes a really good point. If any of you guys remember Ent Gaming, that was a place to go for custom games. Essentially, bots would host up any custom map, and then people could join that. And it would be on good ping and fair. And sometimes those games would be like, they'd have a ranking system. So Legion TD was on Ent Gaming, and you could actually rank up in Legion TD and Warcraft 3. They had that, but Blizzard just completely got rid of that. Like hardcore just completely eliminated it by just coming in and saying, nope, no bots, no nothing like that for Battle.net 2.0 version of Warcraft 3. Because remember, Warcraft 3 was being ported onto Battle.net 2.0.
I think if you're looking to do a patch, we, the community, are here. You may not deserve us, but you have us anyway. Me and many others, we know a lot of things about Warcraft 3, how it can still be improved even now, how it can be monetized even now, if that's something you are interested in, how balance could be changed or should be changed even now, and which things are working properly and which things are not working properly. Some of the broken promises of the Reforged release are more important than others, and we can help offer guidance which one are more important and which one are less important. There are a few questions. Will the Observer API continue working? Will local file support continue? Will the game get a reporting system? The current system is sending reports to the void. You can do reports, nobody's reading it. The W3 Champions team is managing their multiplayer servers, but the Battle.net reporting doesn't do anything and nobody's reading it. Will there be an automated or a manually operated reporting system is a question. Because in Battle.net there's no punishment for just joining a 4-on-4 and then leaving immediately. Because we still have thousands or even...
It's true. Actually, it doesn't happen quite that much, though, surprisingly. It used to happen more, I feel, but... I mean, we're still playing 4 versus 4 RT Battle.net at the moment. And you do get some scuffed games, but actually it's surprising how much people do stay in the game, generally speaking. I don't know, that's just because I'm in the game sometimes or not.
Tens of thousands of players playing either on Battle.net or W3 Champions, it would be both monetizable by the numbers, like this has been proven if you make a skin monetization system. And there's also a
Yay,
need
skins.
for a reporting system that works. This has also been proven in multiplayer systems. What about the legacy account data? It's still out there somewhere, I must imagine, somewhere on the Blizzard servers.
Like Illidan.
We once linked our 2002 game accounts that we painstakingly kept alive. We once linked that to the Reforged account that we made for the...
When I reinstalled Warcraft 3, I've had to do that multiple times. Each time you do it, it always says, don't forget to link your old classic account. You know, Gagoo, that account, for example. That's gone. Like, there's no way they've got like copies of that or anything like, or any of the portraits they used to have.
2020 Reforged re-release of the game. We had accounts with thousands of games and stats and win rates. And
Filipinos are losing their nuts right now, aren't they? Losing their mind.
Whatnot. We linked those to our current accounts, and we got the message, link complete. But it didn't do anything until this day. Is that data still out there somewhere? And can we still get it? What's going to be happening to custom maps that rely on Reforged models? The Reforged model palette, the graphics, may be not to everyone's liking, and there are some serious performance issues when it comes to hitbox.
Nonsense!
FPS,
I won't hear any of this slander!
and whatnot.
Unbelievable.
But the map editor scene is fairly happy with the amount of extra models that they had received for the game. And so even if you are giving let's say another remake to the graphics that is more in line with the successful and well accepted ones, like Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition and StarCraft 2, a StarCraft 1 Brood War remake, those have good graphic remakes. It'd be great if Warcraft got one of those as well. But in my opinion, it should be in the form of a third toggle. Original graphics, original HD, Definitive Edition, what have you, and then the Reforged graphics.
Yep. You need to think along the lines that there are actually some good things that came from Reforged, aka, you know, the Chronicles of the Second War or the Reforged campaign by Insane Monster, like Shadi working on Chronicles of the Second War. Both those, well, their teams, although Insane Monster's obviously solo, but he communicates with them. They're all sort of doing some good stuff for Reforged. At least I think it's in the right place for Reforged. Need a little bit of water for my throat. There we go. The campaign is the best place for Reforged, in my opinion, because it can tell more of a story with the higher fidelity graphics, and you don't have to worry so much about the hardcore gameplay aspect of maximum APM, micro, and frame rate. So the campaign is the best place for Reforged. So you shouldn't necessarily get rid of Reforged graphics. You still technically have a place for it. But I personally would favor a remaking of Warcraft 3 original graphics. Don't change them like in any way other than just making them sharper. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could at least offer different skins. Basically, you know, when I sometimes play these custom games, right? And they have these cool models, right? They got these cool, awesome models. It's still the original graphics. It's that original style, the sort of blocky, cool style that we all know and love. But people have created their own models. I love playing as those characters. Like, believe it or not, I still enjoy like the female Death Knight or the female Warden. Obviously, it's a bit of a meme, and they're not perfect models by any means, but I appreciate the original graphics versions of having different models. So I want like a female Fire Lord. I want a female Pit Lord. I want them all. So, you know, give us a... No, it's not so much don't give them ideas. It's just take what other people have already done on Hive Workshop, etc., and make it work. The female Warden. I didn't say a female Warden, did I? I said a female Fire Lord and a female Pit Lord. Who said female Warden? I don't remember saying that. Fine. Fine. Let's have 2 female Warden. Whatever. We're getting
because
distracted.
taking away the Reforged models entirely and replacing them with something else would make the custom scene not very happy.
Said it like 3 times. Just
who in the
glitch
community
out.
will you be talking to?
Lazy
in order
Hydras,
to get
thank you.
information? We saw that recently for StarCraft 2. there was a community balance patch where
What does
many
a
members of the
tapeworm have in
community
common
got
with the
together
Eiffel
and gave
Tower? They're both
valuable
parasites.
bipartisan, tripartisan feedback about balance and so on. And that's something that we could do as well in the Warcraft 3 scene. Warcraft 3 scene is comprised of very reasonable, non-salty, non-biased players, and together
Like
I'm
me.
sure that we could create a patch that people would be happy with. There's a lot of valuable feedback. Call me.
WT.
Then the first, then there are some things that are critical to all tools continuing to work, like W3 Champions. Is the standard definition art going to be restored as it was pre-reforged? Standard definition art texture quality was actually reduced. So the
I'm
game
joking.
that we're playing with now,
Thank
which
you,
looks
kitten.
like classic, is actually less good looking than the one that we used to have, probably because of a porting issue to a new client. Is the reforged art ever going to be finished? Some of the models have some potential, but the
No.
implementation right now is not very good.
There's no way
You
they're
can see
going to
this very
finish the
easily when you
models.
look at portraits that have a very strange gleam to the silhouette. There's white or black inside mouths of models that should not look like that. The lighting, yeah, it's not a cohesive, well-produced thing. Is that going to be improved?
I think Grubby forgets the amount of work that Blizzard have been putting into Reforged. Like, do you not remember the update they did where they made the Goblin Tinker's Reforged model cigarette a little bit more pronounced? It was more bright, more vibrant. Do you guys remember that? And the footprints for
Well, if you
chickens.
think they're gonna rush, you
Don't
might
forget
wanna
that,
build something.
because before that point,
Unicorn.
I hated the game. But when the chickens had footprints, it was actually playable again. So I don't know what you guys are complaining about. Demo, thank you very much there.
Instead, to the point where Reforged will actually be a valid rival to the classic graphics. Many models are also missing animations and are locked to 30 FPS. Some of the running animations
Very
are unnatural
off-putting.
for the speed that units are moving with. Silhouetting is worse for many units, so that it's hard to tell certain units apart, something which in the 2002 version was not a problem because it was a high quality art production.
Thank you.
Can we get the option to not download HD art if we are not interested in HD art? We are downloading a very large game of many dozens of gigabytes. Was it
So when he says HD, he means Reforged. I'm sure most of you know that. It's just so those that didn't, that's what he's referring to. Yeah, the 30 gigabytes of Reforged.
90? Even when we are not interested in those art assets at all, is there an option to toggle that in the launcher where we say that we don't want this? Can you guys improve the messaging around the game and around the accessibility of the game? It would really help me if I don't need to answer the question a million times which version of the game you are playing. Just put a message out there and saying that you guys binned the classic client, denied it internet access, that everyone's playing on the Reforged client, but that you have a toggle that allows.
It is amazing how many times that question comes up. I don't know why. There must be so many people that play on like Game Ranger or Euro Battle.net or something. But for me, I've always just played on the base standard version of Warcraft 3. And I would have thought that would be the bog standard answer. But it's amazing how many times in my YouTube comments, on almost a daily basis, it's like, what version of Warcraft 3 is this? Are you playing on Eurogamer? It's like, if you're making an assumption, you should probably resort to the default, which would be Battle.net. But it's almost like Battle.net is like the most alien thing to a lot of those people that write that comment. They're like, there's a normal version of the game?
You to use classic graphics. That messaging can be a lot better, and then eventually we can try to repair the reputation of the game a bit as well when some good improvements come around. More messaging, more info, please. Are you guys going to continue supporting offline play? LAN. This, of course, was part of the 2002 game. When are custom campaigns going to be coming back? This is important to a lot of people. I
That
get
should
that
come
question
back.
a lot. Are we going to be getting global custom game lobbies back? Right now, there's a very invisible wall between different custom game lobbies. You are not being told that custom game lobbies are not global when you are a user of the game. Ladder on Battle.net, if I can call it ladder because there's no ladder, matchmaking is global, but custom games are not. And this distinction is not clear. And will we get global custom games back?
A filter for chat. I know this one might not come up, but it's one of the things that bugs me the most, and it's such a small thing. It's not something we had in the original Warcraft 3, so I can't complain from that perspective. But for a quality of life perspective, please fricking give us a search filter for custom games when it comes to creating them as well as searching. I mean, when you look in the lobby, you can type in letters and then it will highlight the games that have those letters, so to speak. So the search filter is basically there when you're looking for a custom game, but when you're creating one, every time I have to go through my folders and scroll through like about 500 different bloody maps. I have so many different folders because I had so many maps in those folders. I had to create new folders with less maps in them, and then those get built up. And it's just, if I could just literally type in BAL or something like that for Balanced Hero Survival, I'd instantly pick up the map or something. But I've got to scroll all the way down, and you do this for every single custom game. It's so tedious.
Using the PTR to test patches. So far, recent patches have continued to break the game in unexpected and unpredictable ways. So would a PTR be good? Then people can test some things. What happened to the 1.33 patch that the team was working on, the old classic team? We saw some previews of it. I saw some previews of UI present for stat screens for ranked. I saw UI when I visited the office of win rates per race, per map, profiles. Are we?
He said he saw it when he went to the office, because this might have been in the 2018 Blizzard Invitational. That's where Grubby and Remo and Neo, those guys from Back to Warcraft, they went over and helped Blizzard to create a showcase for Warcraft 3, essentially inviting the famous players of Warcraft 3's past as well as current to do battle in a 1-versus-1 tournament. And I think they got to see some stuff behind the scenes. I'm not sure, I wasn't there, but I assume they did, and Grubby just mentioned it, so listen carefully here.
UI present. The 1.33 patch that the team was working on, the old classic team. We saw some previews of it. I saw some previews of UI present for stat screens for ranked. I saw UI when I visited the office of win rates per race, per map, profiles. Are we going to get that at some point as part of 1.33 patch? Will you allow us to keep using W3 Champions as a ladder server? I can assure you that you can never make something that will be as satisfactory as W3 Champions at this phase in the game's life. So it is very important for the game. And even if you add ladder, don't take away W3 Champs. Then, are you going to be releasing the campaign balance patch that is in patch 1.33 is the question. And why don't we have anyone to talk to for War 3 and we only get our messaging via Mike Ibarra's personal stream, where
it's true. It's like the only way to actually get any information about Warcraft 3, even if Mike's like just winging it or like not even responding correctly. It's just, you're just better off going to like literally the guy who, in quotation mark, runs Blizzard, the CEO of it, right? And just typing in his Twitch chat.
Honestly, like, he should be bothered because now he is responsible for the game, but it also feels bad to bother him on his personal stream. Can you hire a community manager for the game so that we can start having communication flow between the community and whoever is working on Reforged? Then finally, it would be nice to bring out iterations of improvements slowly by little when they are ready, rather than doing like one big patch drop where there's a lot of changes. And again, it would be nice to test some of these changes so that things don't break that were previously working.
That one's a bit tougher because they did do a PR, didn't they? But no one liked to play on it because it had like 400 ping. It was only like an American server, and almost no one tested anything, so Blizzard didn't really get the information they were looking for. and they just went ahead with the patch anyway. So they just, I think after a while, they just ended up just not even bothering with the PR thing. I just think they just instantly just put whatever their changes were onto the live game.
It's pretty fragile status quo right now, and we wouldn't want it to be any worse. Yeah, those are some questions. And then finally, when it comes to the art in a bit more of a specific angle, I'm going to show you
Blizzard
an
has left the
image
game.
of a reforged asset and a mobile game asset, which you guys like pretty much right now. Left side is a mobile game and right side is reforged. It is pretty easy to see that this is a necromancer because he has a good contrast that is very different from the background. And yeah, it's simple models, but it serves the purpose. I know exactly what everything is. This is a big gargoyle, that's a necromancer. This thing, it's pretty hard to tell what it is. I don't know if it's a plant, home, front kind of gift for a birthday, or if it is Kerrigan. It kind of looks like Kerrigan with some kind of...
In a weird way, it kind of looks like a HD StarCraft version of Kerrigan. Yeah, I could somewhat see that actually. Yeah, from the right angle. He's not too wrong about the mobile. Obviously, you don't want it to look like mobile graphics, right? We recently played Defend the King a second time, didn't we? And Defend the King, that's a hero defense custom game for Warcraft 3, and it uses a lot of models that are from World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm. And those sit really nicely in Warcraft 3. If you've ever played that map, you'll see what I mean. It's amazing how smooth those models look. And I was looking at those, and I was just like, every model I was clicking on, like the Warden, the female Warden, I was like, oh my god, why didn't we just have that instead of Reforged? It's like I still blame Brian Salsa for it. I think he was very pig-headed. At least that's the impression I got. I can't say for sure because I don't know. I wasn't on the team, but I get the impression he sort of didn't care much or didn't have any respect for the original game and its graphics and just wanted to go ahead with essentially a complete remodeling of many of the characters, even if they don't look like the original characters or don't have the same silhouettes or styles. There's a reason why the original Warcraft 3 graphics is so fantastic. It's because the silhouettes and that stand out. It's one of those kind of fluky things to a degree because it was a product of its time. They had to be sort of stringent on the amount of polygons they could use, etc., and have basic skeleton models for these characters because, you know, this was the first 3D sort of RTS game. Like, they didn't actually have the luxury to sort of make the characters like overly detailed. So you just got a clear designed idea of what that character is, and it worked. It works so bloody well. My god, I still love the graphics to this day. And then, like, Brian Salsa, he sort of like doesn't have an understanding of why it works. It's again why when they remake movies, they don't have respect for the original material. They come in, they change everything, and they wonder why they get backlash and that the movie fails. It's because they didn't have any understanding what made it great in the first place. It's painful. So, yeah, you need some sort of, I don't know, just make it way more like the original graphics, for God's sake.
This isn't part of the unit, is it? This is something on the ground. But it kind of looks like Kerrigan at a glance of a silhouette. So, really neat, good...
Is that so? Eat bacon. Apparently, Metzen would constantly curse in the office because working in 3D for the first time was so hard. Yeah, it was pretty revolutionary. I don't, they're lucky they had Samwise Didier because that guy carried hard, didn't he? Really, let's face it, doing a lot of that 3D work.
Silhouetting and good art back in order to be able to have this be a competitive art asset. Well, that's kind of what I have right now. Again, contact us if you want more information about the game. I'm very hopeful that W3 Champions can continue to do a good multiplayer game experience for those that go through the hoops of installing the game. But we all deserve so much more than we have gotten from you recently, and it would be great if you took some steps towards repairing this wonderful game. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's Grubby's video. Go check out his YouTube channel. Follow Grubby, and I'll obviously link the video in the video description. Yeah, I think you'll be hard pressed to get much luck out of Blizzard. They certainly haven't shown any signs of trying to even get any redemption for Warcraft 3. They'd much rather pretend it didn't exist. Who knows if that will change as Microsoft gets deeper into the sort of merging of Activision, as Activision sort of gets destroyed. Like, if you think why Warcraft 3 Reforged failed, I feel like when I created this,
Who dares defile
Not that
this
bit,
ancient
Smosh.
land? If I must drink
this bit is really just sort of speaking to what is wrong with Reforged and essentially Blizzard, right? The old Blizzard got corrupted by Activision. This is the whole point.
from these waters
It's
to
that
the
story.
shareholders, then I will.
No, that goes against everything the war chief teaches us. We can't let greed overcome us again.
No, warrior. We must embrace it as never before. We must become the vessels of destruction that we were meant to be. Yes! I feel the power once again. Come, my warriors. Drink from the dark waters, and you will be reforged. Ah! The demigod has fallen. The war song is supreme.
That really played in so well to the narrative I was trying to tell. It's amazing. That cutscene, obviously done way before Reforged came along. It just, the dark, like drink from the dark waters and all of that kind of stuff. It's so perfect to just describe exactly what Reforged kind of did to Warcraft 3. All right, there you go.